Week 4, Talkin' Ball Game Day, Episode 4, coming at you. I say let's go ahead and get started with our upset alerts.
But first of all,
that's on me.
Sorry, Cam. John doesn't. I don't know why. But
thank you, Cam.
I'd like to say thank you to Cam Smith with the Just Jesus Network Radio, internet radio app for all your gospel preaching, gospel singing, all that good stuff. Our boy Dave is on Saturday mornings at 8:30. You done your message for this week, Dave? You ready?
I've not sent it in.
So
it's all right. Hey,
gotta get that. You gotta get that. Stay tuned for that.
Gotta get that. Boom, boom.
So also with the American Senior Benefits insurance broker. Cam is a great guy. Make sure you go give him a like, follow,
shout out
all
to
that
Cam.
good stuff.
No doubt, for sure.
So thank you, Cam, for
What's
sure.
up, football?
But yeah, let's dive into this. I'll go ahead and start.
Starting off hot.
Starting off hot
Start
with
strong,
my
bro.
upset alert / pick.
He's confident in this
Going ahead and saying this, you'll see this later. But my upset alert of the week is, and I keep going with this. I went with him last week to get upset, which I was wrong. But I'm going to go with him again. I figure if I pick him every week to get upset, maybe sooner or later I'll get it right.
Bound to happen eventually.
I am taking the upset of Wisconsin against Notre Dame. Playing at Notre Dame this week. I know Notre Dame got it. At Wisconsin this week. I know Notre Dame got it together last week with beating Purdue, which, by the way, y'all did say that they wouldn't win a close game. They would either win and get it together or they would lose finally, they did get it together this week, won by 14 against Purdue, which Purdue
isn't.
Which isn't great, but Purdue gave Texas A&M a run for their money.
Well, they also, Notre Dame actually controlled the game for the most part the whole time.
They did, but I think this week Wisconsin.
I
think Wisconsin had a bye week this week already, because they're only 1-1. And I know they lost week 1 to Penn State, and then they beat some no name this week. But I think who'd they beat last week?
So wait, they're not coming off a bye.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Wait, are they coming off of a bye?
I guess.
Yeah, they're coming off a bye this week.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Either that or there was some sort of cancellation.
Yeah, so they didn't play. But I'm taking Wisconsin having a bye week, playing Notre Dame. I'm taking that as my upset alert of the week.
That's a good pick because coming off a bye,
No doubt.
Man, that's tough.
If I'm gonna see what the spread is, I'd put my chips in on whiskey here. I don't even think there's not a listed spread on ESPN, at least not yet, or either that or it's just not loading. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what the spread will be. I assume Michigan will probably be like a 2.5 or 3 point favorite.
Not Michigan.
You meant Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
No, my bad. Yeah, Notre
okay.
Dame. Notre Dame will be like a 2.5 or 3 point favorite.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's a safe but smart pick.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
I'm gonna go ahead with mine, and mine's gonna be Arkansas and Texas A&M. I know Arkansas is a 5.5 point dog right now. Yeah, game of the week for us, and I think that's gonna be a great game. And I was really struggling with this pick of who I really think is going to end up winning this game because I do think Arkansas is a much improved team. I think Arkansas is a legitimately good team this year. And a lot of that we get that is because they thrashed Texas.
Right.
And I don't think Texas is as good as other people thought. So I think it's a little bit of both. That win, they should get a ton of credit. And they didn't only beat Texas. They pretty much destroyed Texas. They controlled that game, the line of scrimmage, offensively, defensively. And I've seen Texas A&M struggle with Zach Calzada now being their quarterback against Colorado. Now, last week he played great, but it was against a no-name. Against Colorado, he struggled a lot. Now, he did make some big plays there at the end of the game. And Texas A&M has a legit defense. They have a top-5 defense. They have one of the best running offenses in the country. So this was a tough one to me. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. But I do think the Razorbacks pull this out. I think they win this game. And I believe it's not actually at Texas A&M. I believe it's
Arkansas.
It's in Dallas, I think.
Oh, I thought it was in Arkansas.
I could be wrong.
I know Arkansas is a home team.
Yeah. But
Where it's at, I don't know.
Yeah, I could be totally wrong, but I thought I heard that it was like in Dallas or something. So it's more of a neutral site, still really be kind of home for A&M if that's the case. And again, it's struggling for me, but I could definitely see Arkansas pulling off the upset, so that would be an upset alert. But I also think I'd rock with them as my pick.
David, who's your upset alert?
So my upset alert, I'm gonna take. Like I said, not necessarily picking them to win, but look out for North Carolina State this weekend against Clemson. Clemson goes on the road. They'll kick off at 3:30. I think the spread is 10 points. They're giving Clemson 10. And like I said, and like we've mentioned with the Notre Dame situation, I think it's similar here. I think either Clemson's going to go in to North Carolina State and either win by 20 or 30 points and really get going, or I think Clemson's going to lose. I think North Carolina State will find ways to score against Clemson. Maybe not 30 points, but 17 to 20 points. I think Clemson finally gives up a touchdown or two, and maybe I'm wrong there, but sooner or later, big plays are going to happen.
Absolutely.
They are.
And kick returns and defensive touchdowns. You never really know what's going to happen. If Clemson can only muster up 14 points this week, I think they lose.
I agree with
that.
And like I say, I truly believe that sooner or later something's going to give. But sometimes quarterbacks and offensive coordinators just do not click.
Yeah.
And that could be what we're seeing here at Clemson. Because Tony Elliott, though he's not a creative mastermind, he's held a pretty good offense.
No,
together.
he has. He absolutely has. You got to give him that.
And I've seen the argument, they've relied on talent. Well, yeah. Well, no, duh.
Yeah, everybody does.
I promise you, Georgia relies on talent. I mean, that's what you are. But schematically, Tony Elliott doesn't do anything blow your mind.
Right.
But he's good at what he does.
Right.
Or at least has been, and we'll see what he continues to do. It'll be interesting to see. That offensive line's got to hold up this weekend. But I'm gonna say, look out for NC State. They're at that 3:30 kick.
And as much as I'd like to hate to admit that that's a good pick, being a Clemson fan, it really is. You want to talk about super seniors and 6-year seniors.
Yeah.
NC State utilizes that a lot. NC State's one of the most experienced teams in college football, not just the ACC. And that scares me going into NC State.
And they play Clemson good.
Yeah, because we've seen, I was about to say that, we've seen NC State play as good. I remember that. I can't remember exactly what the exact year it was where their kicker missed like a 5-yard field goal, or they would have won that game. And this game scares me, and I agree with what you said. I think we don't score 14 to win this game.
No.
I think we either lose this game or we end up winning by 14, 20 points.
When I say this, and this sounds like it's, I mean, it sounds just like it's got big, I don't know another word for it, but I think this is one of the most crucial games that Clemson
this is going to be a tournament
has played in a long time.
You can't come out 4 games in a row play flat on offense.
No, you can't. And you definitely
something's going to give negative.
If you come out and lose this game, I'm not saying the Clemson dynasty's over. I'm not saying all that.
Well, you're out of the playoffs.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're out of the playoff, and your fan base is highly upset.
And I'll tell you this: when you lose a game in college football, and this is why it's so great, from now on, every game's a playoff game.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
Yeah,
when a team, a position group, a player, or a side of the ball plays bad, one of two things happen. Either there's a legitimate issue there, and it's going to be an issue all year. I remember 2019 Georgia. They pretty much said, hey, next year we're revamping the offense, but you can't do something like that mid-season.
Right.
If there's a legitimate issue, it's there.
Yeah.
There are sometimes it's either he's got it or he don't type thing.
Yep.
But sometimes guys just start out slow, and bad play and a bad game or series of bad games can be used in the film room to produce an even better player.
Right.
Mistakes create you and make you.
Yep.
DJ's going to play in the NFL at quarterback. I believe that.
I agree.
Not the way he's playing now, but the way he can play and the way we've seen him play.
Yep.
I think Clemson can get going, but watch out for NC State.
I do. I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah, let's move on to the team that we are sleeping on. And I'll go ahead and get this started. The team that I'm sleeping on this week is the University of Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan coming off three wins.
Pick.
I think they're up to number 19 in the country. I've heard, Michigan's finally got it together this year. John Harbaugh's, this is the year that Michigan beats Ohio State, which is possible. Ohio State's struggling this year. But I'm sleeping on Michigan. Their 3 wins are Western Michigan, Washington, and Northern Illinois. They haven't played a good team yet. They play Rutgers this week. I think it is at Michigan, but Rutgers is also 3-0. Rutgers are a good team. Rutgers usually have not a great team, but a solid team. And I'm just not bought into Michigan yet. I'm not bought in. Yeah, I think they've put up like 37, 45, and 60-something. But, like I said, they haven't played a legit team yet. Wait till they play the likes of, Ohio State, the likes of Penn State, those kind of teams. And then, if they go in and play well against those teams, maybe bought on. But I'm sleeping on them right now. I don't think they're a legit so-called playoff contender yet.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's fair, and we're going to learn a lot about Michigan
this
week, because this is not the Rutgers of old. Greg Schiano has Rutgers back to being a good program, a good football team. But Michigan's running back Blake Corum is legit.
He is.
He's a legit Heisman candidate. Their running offense as a whole is legit. And I agree. I'm not ready to crown Michigan and say this is the year that John Harbaugh's finally got it figured out. I kind of hope so. Because, for one, I like John Harbaugh, but for one, I would love to see him beat Ohio State. But I'm with you. I don't know if they're there yet, but this is definitely going to be a week that we're gonna find a lot about Michigan. And I think they beat Rutgers, but at the same time, would I be totally surprised if they go out there and struggle? I wouldn't be entirely surprised as well. So my team that I'm sleeping on this week is going to be the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They go against Michigan State. The head coach, Mel Tucker, who I genuinely believe this is one of the best hires that's been made in college football in quite some time. We saw what he did at Colorado.
Legend.
Instantly went to Colorado, and they became a physical team. Like, you didn't want to go play Colorado. Goes to Michigan State, and instantly he's doing great stuff in Michigan State. I don't think he's leaving Michigan State, but I think an underrated hire if I was USC.
Yep.
Yeah, I would look at Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker can freaking coach. That's just the facts.
I agree with you.
And Michigan State's looked great this week. Now, I don't think Miami's anything special. They blasted Miami.
Right.
And I've been off the Miami train since before the season. But I think Michigan State goes in there, or I don't know where they play, but I think they beat Nebraska pretty strong.
Yeah, and Nebraska played well last week.
They did. They played
State's
very well.
only favored by 5.
Yeah.
Really? Does it say where they're playing at? I think bottom team's home team. I could be wrong.
Give me 2 seconds. Michigan's at home. State's
So
at home. It's a night game too.
So I think Michigan State could roll there, and at the same time, like you said, Nebraska did look a lot better.
Yeah.
And I've been disappointed in the job that Scott Frost did because I thought that was a home run hire, and that's yet to really come to fruition. And it could be a close game. But I think Michigan State wins, and they definitely cover that spread.
Yeah. Who you sleeping on, David?
So I'm gonna do what has not been done yet on this broadcast episode.
Okay.
And I'm going to counter exactly what he said. While he is sleeping on Michigan, I'm going to sleep on Rutgers.
I like that a lot.
And not only am I going to sleep on Rutgers
this week,
I'm sleeping on Rutgers for 3 straight weeks.
Who they got?
Rutgers has got a mean 3-game stretch.
Yeah, they do. I can see it from here.
You go to Michigan, you got Ohio State at home, you got Michigan State at home.
Oh, yeah. That's tough.
Rutgers have started out good. They look good. Congrats to Greg. You're not going to attempt the last name. You've done a great job. Your team looks good. Everybody wants Rutgers to be good. It's fun when Rutgers is good at football. But the next 3 weeks are rough.
Yeah, and the same thing, kind of like I just mentioned. I could see Michigan. I could see Blake Corum. I could see them going out there and running all over the Scarlet Knights.
Michigan's favored by 20, and honestly, give me the spread there. I think they cover. And the thing is, man, I know Rutgers started out 3-0, and they beat up on some nobodies.
Yeah.
But you know who else beat up on nobodies? Nobodies.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Right. Yeah.
Tulane's.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can beat up on these nobodies, and I'm not trying to throw shade to Rutgers.
Yeah.
Congrats to what you've done the first 3 weeks. It's about to get real. It's about to get hard.
Yeah, we'll find out if they're legit.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. And prove me wrong if you want to. A lot of teams have done that so far this year. Yeah. But I think you're going to lose the next 3 straight, and I'm slipping on you this week.
And like I said, I like that pick. I agree with you. I think Michigan wins pretty big. I think they control this game. I'm not quite sure if I think they cover that 20-point spread, but I think they win by over 14 plus points. The reason I think they do, for sure,
because I think they score a whole bunch.
Yeah. I think their offense is legit.
I don't think Rutgers has the guys up front to stop the run game. That's my issue in this game. I think Rutgers scores 20-something points, and they may not cover.
Yeah.
I'm very bold in my prediction. I'm like, there's no gray area for me. This may be a squeaky game. Michigan may pull out a 10-point win or a 7 or 3-point win, but I could see this being like 44-20.
I agree.
And that covers.
I can see that.
Right.
So, moving on to the next segment of the players that we're expecting to break out, expecting to have a great week. And I'm going to go with my boy Will Shipley. Will Shipley is finally getting to start a
starter for this game.
Yep, starting running back.
Who started for you last week? Kobe
Pace.
Yep, Kobe Pace. And then Lynn J. Dixon came in right in after that, which with the loss of Lynn J. this week,
he only got 2 series. Lynn J.
Yeah,
in the game.
Lynn J. entering the transfer portal, I seen that coming.
Yeah, blind man.
No doubt.
Yeah, from a long way. But Shipley finally getting the starting position, which I think he has earned it. Definitely been our MVP of the year so far.
Absolutely, especially on the offense side.
On the offensive side. I expect him to have a great week. I think they feed him a lot this week against NC State. At NC State, I think he gets 20-plus carries probably.
Seems like last week, it's obvious that they're going to rely on the run.
Yeah, and if it's working like last week, if it's working, don't change it up.
That's something I didn't get about that one drive. Not to go into detail. We ran it 7 times with Shipley scored a touchdown, and then we didn't give him another carry. But
expect him definitely getting over 100 yards this week. I'm expecting it to get over 100, maybe 1-2 touchdowns. Expect him to break out this week.
I'll tell you what, I love that pick, and being a Clemson fan, I'm about to pick another Clemson player. But if you're watching this for the first time, that's typically really not what we do.
No, we try to stay away from that.
Yeah, we normally do try to stay away from that. But I'll tell you what, Will Shipley is slowly becoming already one of my favorite players like ever. The way he carries himself, the way he plays, man, he's a hard-nosed runner, man. But I'm picking DJ Uyunglele. I think this is it, man. I've still got full faith and support in DJ. And am I worried a little bit?
I hope you're right.
Do I have my concerns? Yes. Do I have my worries a bit? No doubt. But I think this is the week. I think this is the week that we get it done. And NC State's defense really is no slouch.
No, they're not.
Even against Mississippi State, the air raid with Mike Leach. Now, they lost that game. They lost that game pretty bad, but they didn't really give up many points. I think they only gave up
24.
Only 20, which is not a lot to an air raid Mississippi State offense.
For sure.
But I think this is the week, and I don't know exactly that DJ goes out. I'm not saying DJ's going to go out there for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I think this is the game where we see him get comfortable.
If he throws for 200,
if he throws
that's a breakout.
Seriously, if he throws for north of 200, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
But I think this is the game where we finally see us consistently move the ball. I think we see him be efficient. Again, I don't know what his stats look like, but I think they're a lot better than they have been. And I think this is the week that our offense breaks out. And I could be so wrong, but at least I'm being a hopeful Clemson fan. I think DJ has a great week.
Like I continue to preach, it's either going to happen this week or it's not going to happen all year.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I really do.
Who are you going with, David?
As much as it pains me to do this, I'm actually going to go with Luke Doty for this weekend.
I like that.
Doty can play football. Doty's a baller, and he's not like a Heisman guy.
Yeah.
But Doty's a good college football guy. Doty is that guy that ticks you off when you're opposing against him. Because you see Georgia come in. I don't know statistically that it happened, but I want to say that we hit the South Carolina quarterback every time they drop back to pass. There was not a time that I can recall, maybe once or twice the whole game, that they dropped back to pass and had time to throw.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's going to be with Georgia's defense all year. But I'm going to pick Luke Doty. The Kentucky defense has not been particularly great.
What is Kentucky's record right?
They're 4-0, or 3-0 rather.
3-0.
Yeah.
Mine just foreshadowed a bit there, Dave.
South Carolina wants to win this game this weekend. They're begging their fans to show up.
Oh yeah, and they will.
And I think South Carolina pulls it out. But Kentucky has played some good football at this point, so we're going to find out about Kentucky. Are they legit? Can they be a second team in the East at the end of this year? Or are they the Kentucky of old who does start out good but drops? So they allowed Missouri 28 points. That's not terrible but not good either. Missouri's got a good offense. Connor Bazelak's a good quarterback. I think he threw almost 300 and 4 touchdowns. And then they allowed Chattanooga to score 23. Now, I don't know if that was garbage time or what the case was. But that was a close game. I think it was like 23-28 final or something.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that was a hard-fought game. I'm going to say that Luke Doty has a pretty good weekend. Give him 250 pass yards, a few touchdowns, and maybe 60 or 70 rushing yards. Yeah. Luke Doty is good, and he's Ian Book-like.
Yeah.
And I've compared him to Ian Book.
Hard to
get
to him. You're close. Exactly. You're close.
And that's the thing that's so aggravating is you have him sat and he throws the ball away.
Yep.
Now, it's similar to Bo Nix. I almost said Bo Picks.
Bo Picks.
But
his nickname.
Luke Doty's like a less elite of a passer, Ian Book. But Ian Book was good, but not an NFL guy. That's what Doty is. Right. Doty's a good Saturday guy.
I like it.
Not a good.
I'll tell you what, that's high praise coming from you because you got to watch him.
I did.
The whole game against your defense.
I will say Carolina's offense.
That might be the first praise we've ever gave Carolina.
Close to, except for the whole video.
Yeah. And we really didn't give him any praise. Landon
we
did.
let Landon have his time.
Shout out, Landon.
When Zeb got injured Saturday.
Thank you, Landon.
By the way, this is what Josh Spencer was talking about. By the way,
sorry, Josh.
Didn't I say on this show that if Zeb starts, he gets injured?
Yeah,
you
literally did.
He's a statue. But Zeb goes down, his hand injury, and Doty comes in, and they didn't necessarily move the ball on us. They got a garbage time touchdown, whatever it is, what it is. But they have more life. They're better with Luke Doty at quarterback, and I think he has a good weekend.
Agree with that. All right, on to our picks for the week.
We'll do a Christian don't answer.
He'll answer.
So,
go ahead and give you a little update on our records. So, I went 4-2 last week. John himself went 6-0.
Let's go, baby.
David went 5-1. So that brings us to.
hey, I went 5-1.
Great week.
Yeah.
Great
Had a
week,
good
man.
week.
Me and Dave. Only one you picked was Auburn. Or you
Only
pick
one.
you pick Auburn or Penn State.
I will never
Yeah.
pick against the White out again, ever.
So I am on the year 12-6.
Good job, Dal.
John is 12-6, and David is 11-7.
So we got a tight race
Just
right now.
tight race, one game
I'll
behind.
take that.
Hey, only 4 weeks in.
Landon went 4-2 week 1. CC went 4-2, and then Kyle went a perfect 6-0
Shout out
last
to Kyle.
week. I will say though,
He had an
Kyle
easier-
had an easy
No,
week.
no doubt.
When
Our
had to
guest-
take Georgia and Clemson.
Yeah.
Our guest
Bama,
picker this
Miami.
week has a tough week though.
A tougher week.
Picking between, a tougher week for sure. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get him on the phone this week. Our guest picker of the week is.
None other.
We'll tell you when he answers.
Good buddy, Christian Powell, and he is South
Okay, or
Carolina.
David. or David. or
Hey, and
David.
it's- yeah.
I do what I want.
South Carolina.
David will tell it
Executive
now.
decision.
Hello.
What's going on, buddy? We are live on the set.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Christian? So we'll let you know. Christian is a huge, probably he'd give Landon a run for his money on the biggest South Carolina fan that I know. Christian's been to numerous games. Christian's grandpa used to get season tickets. And Christian was there for every home game, mostly away games, all that good stuff. Christian and his wife actually just had a little boy.
That's what I was about to say.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Christian. How's the little man doing?
He's doing all right. He's knocked out right now. He's a little milk drunk, so he's doing
A little milk drunk.
That's good.
Understand that.
That's good.
So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Christian, you got so Landon went 4-2 in his week. CC Manley went 4-2, and then Kyle Collins last week. He did have an easy week, but he went 6-0 in his picks.
6-0. That's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah. So, and we also are doing the person who gets the most games right, and then we'll do the score. We're gonna do something for the winner. I don't know, $20 gift card or something like that for the winner of the picks.
Nice.
So we'll go ahead and get started. So, who are you taking in the Clemson NC State game, Christian?
As much as I hate it, I got to go with Clemson. I mean, North Carolina State, they only beat Mississippi State, or they got beat by Mississippi State, who lost to Memphis. Yeah. So they're just not looking very good. I know Clemson's offense, they just can't get it together, but I still got to go with Clemson on this one.
I like it.
I'm also going with the Tigers. As John said earlier, I think they get it together finally this week. Again, I keep saying that every week, but eventually I hope it happens. If they don't get it together, they do lose. But I do think I think it's closer. I don't think they blow them out, but I think they do pull out 10, 12, 14-point win.
I'll tell you what, I'm one of those fans that's always worried no matter who we play, but this is the most worried I've ever been about playing NC State. But, of course, I've got to go with Clemson, and I as well at least am holding out to hope that this is the week that Clemson gets it together and wins. So, yeah, I'm picking Clemson to beat NC State.
NC State was my lookout for an upset pick, but I'm going to rock with Clemson here. I think, like we continue to say, either they're going to get it together this weekend or they're not. Yeah. And if they don't, they lose. But I think that they'll get it together. And they may squeak out a win, but I could see Clemson winning this one pretty handily.
All right, Christian, who you taking in the, which I think we already know this, Georgia and Vandy?
Oh, of course, Georgia. Them Bulldogs, they're number one in the country right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
High praise from the Carolina fans.
You can't do anything against that defense.
All right.
So, and Vanderbilt, they lost to East Tennessee State.
Vanderbilt is.
That is true.
So here's a little rundown on Vanderbilt. They had one bright spot of their offense in their running back, and he's out for the season.
Hey, they still got that girl coming for him?
I
don't think so. I'm also taking Georgia.
Imagine Jordan Davis blowing up.
Georgia. He just goes around the edge.
Jordan Davis is lays out the girl kick.
I'm going Georgia big.
Yeah, I've got Georgia by 1 million.
Yeah. Georgia by 1 million.
No joke. I think the spread's 33. I think we definitely cover.
Yeah, I got you covered. On to your Gamecocks, Christian. Who you taking, South Carolina or Kentucky?
So this game is always up in the air every year. It's about like how Georgia used to be. Obviously, it's not that way anymore. But Kentucky, they only beat Chattanooga by 3. So they're still trying to get their stuff together. And I think as long as Doty is playing, I think we'll win that. It's at home. It's a night game. Our fans are more pumped than I've seen them in years.
That's true.
So I want to give it to South Carolina on this one.
I'm also going with Carolina. That kills me to say, but like I said, coming off a loss to Georgia, I think their fans are bought in, definitely, to Shane Beamer and the new program, the new culture that they got going. First night game at Willie B. It's going to be rocking. Like Christian said, Kentucky really hasn't got it together yet. I'm going Carolina, but close. I'm saying one possession. I think it's a close game, but I do think that they squeak out the win.
Man, I honestly should have done more research. As I'm sitting here thinking, man, this week is a tough week.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Y'all stick me on the hardest week for this.
Yeah, like
You're
legitimately.
welcome. You're welcome, Christian.
I sit here and, oh my goodness, I've seen South Carolina struggle this year, even against lesser teams. But Kentucky, the same thing. I've got to go with Carolina just because home. Night game.
I agree.
I say South Carolina by like 3 points.
Yeah, it's
Going
close.
South Carolina.
David?
I'm taking Carolina here. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Carolina win by 10.
Really?
Maybe 13. Here's the thing: Kentucky 1 week has come out, and that they're really Kentucky's offense has changed. They're more of an air raid now, whereas they had been 3 yards in a cloud of dust, like what Georgia was years back, and everyone pretty much, if you haven't changed, you're either going to have to or you're going to get left behind.
Yeah,
and that's where we're at. And a lot of people are changing. You're even seeing that with Michigan. And even though that run game is so well, they're changing, and so I'm taking Carolina here. I'm not so sure that I'm bought in on Kentucky. They're 3-0, but man, how do you only beat Chattanooga by 5?
Yeah,
or
3 or 5,
or whatever.
It's a close game.
By possession. Carolina wins this weekend, whether it's close or not. I don't think the fans care if they win by 1, they win by 100.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But quick question to Christian, and I meant to ask you this when I called you. Number 44 for your defense goes out of the game. We're assuming he's out for the year. How big of a loss is that?
That's a pretty huge loss, but like we was talking about earlier, this team, they're so pumped and ready behind Coach Beamer. I think when they go out there, I think they're going to end up playing for that player. I think we have I think we're enthusiastic about the game, and we're not going out there like we did last year under Muschamp, just negative. Oh, we've already lost.
That is true. They've turned the negativity.
So I think they'll rally, and I think they'll play extra hard for him.
Right. I can see that, and I wasn't trying to say that it was a major loss. I was genuinely just curious from a Carolina fan perspective.
Who you taking, Christian? Notre Dame, Wisconsin. Notre Dame at Wisconsin.
So I don't know what happened to Notre Dame. I mean, they're barely slipping by just average teams right now.
They are.
And there's Wisconsin, I think, is going to take that win. They only lost to a good Penn State team. That's their only loss this season.
Should have won that game.
And it's a noon game, and it's at Wisconsin. I'm going to take Wisconsin on this one.
I'm going with you, Christian. I'm taking Wisconsin. I picked Purdue over Notre Dame last week, and they did shock me, and they came out and beat Purdue by 14. But like you said, Wisconsin's only loss is to Penn State, and they were in that game. Played great. Defensive game week 1. Playing at Wisconsin, 12 o'clock game. It's hard to get pumped up for the opposing team at a 12 o'clock game.
Can I butt in?
Yeah.
So I realized something. I was thinking, why do all these Big Ten teams have all these big games at 12? And somebody told me the reason is because of different weather. Because as the year goes on, it gets so cold up there.
At nighttime.
Okay.
I can see
5,
that.
6 o'clock.
I can see that.
And so that's why they play at 12. And to them, that's typical. That's common. That's not as big a deal.
Yeah,
to them
they're
as
hyped up, though.
it
You can tell those Big Ten
Yeah, it's not
fans,
like watching an ACC game at 12.
Right, yeah, but I am. I'm going with
that's been like that forever.
Going with Wisconsin in an upset pick.
My goodness. Okay, I don't want to get too long-winded here, but I'm struggling. I'm struggling hard thinking about this pick. It's at Wisconsin.
Yep.
It's noon. I watched all the Wisconsin-Penn State game. In all reality, Wisconsin probably should have won that game if it wasn't for a couple mistakes down towards the end of the game. Ches Malusi, transfer from Clemson, looked absolutely great for them at running back. And Notre Dame has struggled. They haven't played great. They've slipped by a Florida State team that's absolutely fallen apart. I can't remember who it was the next week that they barely slipped by. Really, I mean, they didn't. It's not like they thrashed Purdue. And everything, and Wisconsin, I've seen their defense. Wisconsin's defense is legit.
Yeah.
I've seen Notre Dame's defense, even with Kyle Hamilton, it's been significantly flawed. But on the other hand, Wisconsin's offense has been a bit inconsistent. everything points to Wisconsin. Everything tells me to go Wisconsin. My heart even wants Wisconsin to win because then that eliminates Notre Dame from the playoff race. But I saw Jack Cohen throw a game-winning touchdown with mangled fingers pretty much. After he dislocated his finger. I've seen Notre Dame's offense look really good. And it's a struggle. It's hard. I want Wisconsin to win. Everything's pointing towards Wisconsin. But I'm going to roll with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to win this game.
I gotta take whiskey here. And to me, this isn't as hard a decision as it was for John. And like I said,
it was an internal battle.
Like I said, I've been proven wrong, as every week really. As taking LSU big over UCLA and other teams like that, Penn State, losing to Auburn. I've been proven wrong. I think Wisconsin wins here. Like I said, these new games aren't as big a deal for these teams, and this is gonna be a good one. But low scoring, 21-17, 21-20, 24-20 type game. Give me whiskey here.
Christian, who you going with, Oklahoma or West Virginia?
So West Virginia, they're not looking too bad this year, but it is that Oklahoma 7:30 game, and they're going to struggle against that Oklahoma defense. I don't think they're going to get very many points on the board unless it's like South Carolina did against Georgia at the end of the game for no good reason. So I'm going to have to go with Oklahoma on this one.
I'm as well going Oklahoma. Oklahoma gets it together this week. They struggled a little bit last week with Nebraska, but I'm taking Oklahoma in a shootout. I think it's a high-scoring affair. I'm taking roughly, 45, 35, 45, 38, something like that in a shootout.
I think this is an extremely close game. I would not be totally surprised to see West Virginia pull off this upset, but I'm going with Oklahoma. But I think it is a very, very, very close game. I'm calling overtime. This game goes to overtime.
Overtime. David?
Man, this is such a hard week, man.
This is. I feel bad for you, Christian.
Yeah, we're sorry, Christian.
Because
I appreciate it.
If Christian goes 3 for 3 for 3 on this,
it's
equal to 6-0.
I agree.
Yeah.
We'll put him equal to Cal. Because, man, sooner or later, Oklahoma's losing one of these games.
Yeah.
If they continue to squeak by.
Kind of like Clemson.
And Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Give me Oklahoma here. But if the clock strikes 12 in this game and Notre Dame
0.
Oklahoma loses.
Won't be shocked.
I say 12 because
yeah.
terminology. I wouldn't be shocked. But I'll take Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
For as hard as a week we're saying, we've all got the same pick except for me with the Notre Dame pick.
And now for probably the hardest game of the week, A&M at Arkansas at a neutral site in Dallas, Texas.
And score. At
Dallas Stadium. Who you taking and the score?
Giving like an extra point to who gets the score closest?
No, we need to though. We will.
Yeah, why haven't we done that?
We should.
Sorry, if you missed that.
Yeah. So who you taking, Christian? A&M at Arkansas and the score.
What's the spread on this game?
I do not know, to be honest, but we can look it up for you though.
If we did research before we started the video.
Well, usually our guest pickers don't ask any questions.
That's true.
That is true. We're normally not faced with that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's see.
It's not saying it on here.
Nobody watches this long anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Once you get to this point, our viewership dies.
Yeah, our average view is like 10 minutes.
Actually, our college game day videos normally do better when it comes to view time.
John, what are you
Yeah, they do all right.
What?
Did you just click on the ESPN
It's Texas A&M's favored by 6.
Texas A&M's favored by 6.
By score.
Oh, really? Okay. That's wrong.
Like it.
It is going to be a tough game. It is at 3:30, so that'll give Arkansas a little bit of time. I know Texas A&M, they're going to be a little closer to the stadium and everything. They'll give Arkansas a little bit of time to get there and get warmed up and get awake and everything. I think Arkansas is going to win by a decent amount, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be about 21-35 is what my score prediction is on this game. Arkansas's running backs are unbelievable. I mean, I think they're just going to run all over them. I do think that they give a little bit of a game in the first half, but I think Arkansas will start slipping away. Texas A&M, they barely beat Colorado.
It's true.
So
7-3, wasn't it?
I think it's going to happen, but I guess
or
we'll see.
10-7, something like that. Yeah. Great pick, Christian. I'm as well going with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Big win. I'm going 28-24 Arkansas.
I as well am going with the Arkansas Razorbacks. The favorite's A&M, but I was locked in on this pick. Score-wise, now what does scare me is Texas A&M's defense, because their defense is definitely legit. It's genuinely one of the best in the country. I'm going Arkansas 20, Texas A&M 17.
David?
31-21 Razorbacks.
Everybody
Woo
almost makes me
What
want
did you
to
say?
say.
30,
Woo pig.
31-21?
Woo pig.
Is that what you
Got it right.
That's
Is that what you said?
Pig. It almost makes me want to go back and just pick A&M just for the heck of
Again,
it.
Christian, we are sorry for the hard week.
Really, one difference.
No joke. If
literally.
it goes 4-2, executive decision here.
If you go 4-2, we're just going to give you the win.
Yeah, you win. You get the $20 gift card.
I mean, at this point, I'm the only one that put myself in a possible bad situation. If Wisconsin wins, I slip.
Picking Notre Dame. So we appreciate it, Christian. Go be with your little boy for the rest of the night.
Nefru.
What are you saying?
Nefru.
Uncle David.
Hello.
Uncle David.
Uncle
That's
David.
right.
Nefru.
He said
Nefru.
hello.
All right, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you later,
See
Christian.
you, Christian. We love you to
All
death.
right, I appreciate y'all letting me be on Talking Ball. Y'all have a good one.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
See you. All right. So,
All the same picks.
Christian
basically.
is a good man. So we appreciate you watching. If you've watched this long, that's the word. Nefru, whatever you said.
Nefru.
Nefru.
How do they have to spell that?
N-E-F. No.
N-E-F-U.
Nefru.
Nefru.
N-E-P-H-R-E-W. Nefru.
Nefru. All right.
What a word.
Until next time, keep talking
Don't
ball.
go skinny dipping with Asian.